Hello, everybody. Dave Neal here, stand-up comic and host of Bachelor Nation News. It's Ramblin' Dave, crusty old Dave here for you on this Monday morning. We've got Bachelorette's TINO FRANCO joking he got an ass whopping by viewers for cheating on Rachel Recchia. And let's dive into this. So over the weekend, we made news, as we are starting to do here, our little commentary channel here on YouTube, this little home we have for the weird audience that enjoys my rambling and mealtime length videos of 10 to 18 minutes, depending on how juicy the gossip is. Well, we made news, and we're going to jump into it and recap my own interview. Follow me on Instagram at dneals, patreon.com/Dave Neal for behind-the-scenes bonus content. Dave, do you mean to tell me you made a video with Tino that made money, and now you're going to make a recap of that same video, which is going to make money, and you're promoting your Patreon, which is going to make money? Hey, a boy's got to eat, right? Go to Dave Neal's show on Instagram. I don't know why my clicker just stopped working here. Anyway, we're stuck in the screen. Let's move to the picture-in-picture. So we've got this interesting title: Bachelorette's TINO FRANCO jokes he got an ass whopping by viewers by cheating on Rachel Recchia. I'm not going to blame the author, Miranda Siwak, because normally the editors write the title, but I think it's a typo by saying ass whopping. As we can see down here, it's whooping. But either way, I digress. So this, this article is nice. We always appreciate a little promo. It led to an extra couple hundred clicks. Maybe someone can check out our channel. I thought my interview with Tino went really well. We talked for almost an hour, which is what I wanted to do. I wanted to ask, and again, I'm no Barbara Walters out there. I'm driving my Tesla. The thing about driving with Dave that I'm trying to do is have conversations in an alternative venue to your traditional interview. I like a traditional interview. I just don't have the space here. I have a small 2-bedroom place. My second bedroom becomes this tiny little studio. I don't have the space to have proper, good quality one-on-one conversation. So I said, you know what? I'll get a car and I'll do it there. And what I've learned, the psychology a little bit, is like we've got our eyes on the road. You can tell I probably looked at him 2 or 3 times during the episode. It's almost like in a confessional where you can't see the priest. You're just like in your own element. So for me, the idea and the psychology behind these interviews, it's 2 people having a conversation, and we can get a little deeper because the stakes are lower because we're just driving. We're moving forward and all of that. And I thought our conversation included Tino doing a very good job of giving Rachel Recchia credit. I gave him a dozen times to open the floodgates on old Rachel over here, and he kind of defended her just about every turn. He said, what I did was wrong. I said, but was it? And he said, yeah, it was wrong. I should have been more clear and defined about where we were in the relationship. Even though she gave me the ring back, I was probably still cheating. It was probably the most nuanced conversation you could have about what happened there, in my humble opinion. I'll let you guys judge for yourself. The thing that annoys me, and I'll continue to talk about this, is posted on the Bachelor subreddit, which I am banned for. We'll get into that. Is 4 or 5 pages of screen grabs from an article that takes kind of out of context some of what was said. Now, I think the article did as best as it could in print medium to cover what the conversation was like. Obviously, it found the salacious moments. It found less than 1% of a 50-plus minute long conversation. No big deal. I understand. The thing that annoys me, though, is you need to link to the source material. That's just what annoys me. This is the issue I had with Reality Steve. Yeah, pimping for Reality Steve. I was sticking up for him. Reality Steve would release a spoiler. Let's make a fake season. It's Billie Jean's season of The Bachelorette. Thomas wins, and then all of a sudden, all these other accounts would just share the news that Reality Steve harvested. He got that information. That's his. He needs to be credited. Not a big deal. It's just credit Reality Steve. And people would say credit RS. And it's like, no, credit Reality Steve. Say his full name. That's what you do on the internet. And don't get me wrong, Us Weekly did that here. But then this was posted to Reddit, and it goes down the pipeline. Again, this is tic-tac. It's really not that big of a deal. I didn't really care because most of my views don't come from Reddit. I mean, literally less than 0.1% of my content ever comes from Reddit. I don't make any money when something is posted on Reddit. I truly don't. It's brand awareness, sure, but I'm not complaining as if I was going to make big money if people posted it here. It's just like share it. Like what? Like this is where we get the laziness, and I get people work and they want to read and they don't want to listen or something. I understand that. But this is the laziness of Reddit, where you'd rather listen to someone who wrote a very specific and brief article on something else versus listening to the source material. It's also one of the biggest problems we have in politics in the US is that we'll clip up tweets and headlines and not listen to source material. What was the source? How did they say it? It's so important on how something was said. That's as important as what was said. So anyway, you know, I get notes here. Someone said, I'm more amused by the fact that Dave hasn't shown his face around here since he was dragged for riding the fence on a very trash topic recently. And someone said he was banned. And then someone said he was amazing. Do you guys know what I was banned for? I already have a full video about it. But I was banned for making a comment in response to commentary about people hypothesizing what was going on. Did I inflame the whole thread by leaving a comment that didn't get the answer? Yes. Did I own up to it? Probably within a day. I was like, yeah, that was bad. I shouldn't have done that. Absolutely. Someone said he is someone I generally ignored but respected the hustle. Thank you. He talked about it on his YouTube channel. Here's a little post about it. So even though they mentioned I talked about it on my YouTube channel, and look, maybe my YouTube channel is just not allowed on the site. I'm not really sure. Again, it doesn't affect me whatsoever from a profit standpoint or a traffic on my YouTube channel. I get all of my YouTube views from internally within the channel. They give me 10 million impressions a month. I don't pay for that. I'm just lucky enough that I've held YouTube's attention, that the algorithm keeps promoting my content. But either way, it leads to a thread on a different subreddit where people were asking, what the hell went down with Dave Neal getting banned? And look, this is what the rest of this video is about. Some people find this super interesting. I know that because when I made this video about getting banned, it well outperformed my other videos. People want to know these side stories about getting banned. So thank you, the Bachelor subreddit, for what I believe to be unjustly banning me. It just caused more traffic to my channel there because people were curious. How could Dave be banned? Again, I was banned for something I almost immediately owed up to, something that I also was not given a warning for or any of these other things. I think I very clearly explained the dilemma that exists when it comes to gossiping online. Yeah, there is a little bit of a powerful feeling you get when you have information somebody else might not. It's why chicks in the office falsely spoiled the last season of The Bachelor. Remember that? It's why things like that happen, because you think you have this information and it's like, oh my gosh, did you know Samantha's pregnant? Oh, Samantha, it happens in the offices all the time. So anyone said, what's the deal? I just saw his video addressing this up on YouTube, but I haven't watched it because it will include a lot of rambling, and I want to know what he did. Was it discussing that there was a tragedy by not going into it? I know Reality Steve did that. I did not create the original post. I just left a comment. I was banned as a commenter, albeit with my name attached to it, so I understand now that comes with more weight than just a random commenter. The reason my name is included in my subreddit handle is because I think we should have ownership over what we say, and I say, this is me commenting. So after I was banned from there, it kind of created this trickle down where I was also banned from all of Reddit, which again, I don't care. They did me a favor by creating more space in my life to not be commenting and giving it away for free. It's like, look, I'll share my opinion, but so my issue is this. It's almost like people don't, I'm a donut shop. I'm a donut shop at the end of the strip mall. People don't like that I'm making donuts over there. They don't, some people, most of you guys really enjoy what I do. Of course, you're watching my channel now, but some people, they just don't like it. And they'll say, Dave's doing this over there. They'll bring what I'm doing in the donut shop to somewhere else to talk trash about me. Don't eat the effing donuts. If you don't like the Dave Neal donuts, don't eat them. You know what I mean? Very bizarre. Very bizarre. So anyway, people shared a lot of love on this channel, and they said, Dave Neal's welcome on the sub. And I was like, look, even though I was welcome on the Bachelor Nation sub, just so they know, I was banned. I couldn't respond from any alternative accounts. The only time I ever created an alternative account is when I didn't want my name attached to something, because it creates conversations and it becomes a magnet for people who want to shit on me to shit on me. I've tried to rationalize with people. I've tried to DM them and talk to them, and they go, Dave, what are you doing? Why are you wasting your time doing this after talking shit about me? And I go, go, well, I just like, this is what you do on stage as a comedian. If someone heckles you, you give it back to them. You press into the issue and say, what's going on here? But what I've had to learn is that people on Reddit don't want resolution. They don't want resolution. They just want to know you're on the bad side. They want you to be an enemy. So some people said some nice things. I wanted to share one of them. Team Dave Neal. And again, people think I write this stuff. I just actually saw this for the first time 12 days later. And by the way, everything this commenter is about to say is credit to you as an audience for being so loyal. You have literally brought me to tears on multiple occasions from your generosity. You know, when we had an issue, I'll get to that in a second. I'll read it. Team Dave Neal. Dave raises tens of thousands of dollars. You guys do that. Your loyalty. Dave raises tens of thousands of dollars for teacher classrooms every year via Amazon gifting directly to teacher wish lists. He had other community fundraisers on his channel. He has raised money to help people take care of pet surgeries. Dave sat in a patio full of bees to bring his viewers content while vacation family wedding. He is also a hilarious comedian, and I highly recommend going to one of his shows, except for the power-hungry mods who ban people on a whim without any prior warning or discussion. No one cares if they get banned from Reddit. He doesn't make money commenting here. Perhaps the mods are sad they don't have an awesome, successful channel and their whole life is being an unpaid Reddit moderator. Power-hungry dictators and banning good people is how these mods thrive. I completely agree. I don't know who these moderators are, but I've got good information that nobody, not one moderator or anybody has challenged what I'm about to tell you. Good information that moderators have multiple accounts. So let's say there's a dozen moderators. Let's say all of them have 3 accounts. Now, some might have 8, some might have 1, whatever. But let's say there's a dozen moderators with 3 accounts. And if they want to make a story where they say, blast me, and I comment on it before it was banned, and I want to say, hey, this isn't true because X, Y, and Z, they can immediately have 36 accounts downvote me, and then the rest will follow because people naturally want to be on the right side of a story. People want to be on the right side of who's the villain, who's the hero. And the point of my Driving with Dave videos is just to show Tino's not a villain. Did he do something that was gray area, leaning on the side of wrong? Absolutely. Did Rachel give him his the engagement ring back and all these other things? Absolutely. And if you listen to that full episode, and don't just read 3 comments while you're taking a dump, but if you listen to that full episode, you'd gain a little bit of empathy for the guy. That while he did something wrong, he also had the wrecking ball just nail him for over a year. And finally, the first day he's off contract and he can have an honest conversation with someone. What does he do? He comes on my show so we can talk about it. Not to, make it sound like he's some hero, but he's a guy who is just trying to donate and raise money for his Ronald McDonald's charity. He's a guy, his brother survived cancer, who goes out and does all this charitable work. He surfs. He's a basic, normal dude. I found this article. This explains in part why I left that comment, which I regret, but I don't regret it in a way that, oh my gosh, I can't believe it. This was such a horrible thing I did. It's like, look, I make 3 to 4 videos a day. About every 2 months, maybe every 60 to 100 videos, I say something that catches me in a moment that I would then be like, dang, I shouldn't have said that. I shouldn't have made this comment. Maybe I should have read this more, or, whatever the case may be. It's impossible to live up to the standards of everybody online. I don't lose any sleep over that anymore, but people trying to look at who I follow. God, if you found out I listened to an episode of Joe Rogan podcast, would you make a subreddit thread about that? Oh my gosh, can you believe this? Dave's listened to someone who's done this, it's like, how far do we need to go down the rabbit hole where we attach one person to another based on someone else's bad deeds? Dave watched an episode of That 70s Show. Dave watched an episode of a show that starred a guy who was convicted. You know what I mean? Editorial, why people gossip and what it brings about. Again, I am not above this. This is all of us. You're not above it. I'm not above it. This is all of us. Motives for and consequences of informal evaluative information exchange. You do it, we do it, everyone does it. Talk about others in their absence. Estimates suggest that in 2/3 of their conversations, people are talking about others who are not present. But people do not talk openly about the fact that they like to gossip. Rather, they claim that they do it less frequently than others, and they do not like those who are known for it. The negative view of gossip among lay people contrasts with scientific insight, suggesting that gossipers' motivation is fueled more strongly by epistemic motives, a desire to understand the social environment, or pro-social motives. Again, this is going to relate back to Reddit, because Reddit's essentially gossiping. So it is an epistemic motive. pro-social motives, a desire to help others, than malicious motives. So gossip is a phenomenon similar to the elephant in the room. Everyone knows it is there, but no one talks about it. This special issue does talk about gossiping. 6 papers address various facets of this socially disapproved yet ubiquitous phenomenon. They present a nuanced view of gossip by relativizing there's a lot of big words here, relativizing both the globally negative view of it among laypersons and more positive scientific perspectives on it. 3 papers focus on gossip senders' motivation to engage in or refrain from gossiping. 3 papers focus on the reactions of both gossip recipients and gossip targets. And they also address the longer-term consequences of gossip that have been neglected in previous research. So we don't get into all the science behind it here, but I'd be glad to break this down even further. But the idea being that it is a social reason we gossip. So while I regret commenting on somebody else's thread that said it's a goddamn tragedy, which is what I was banned for. I was banned for commenting it's a goddamn tragedy is what it is. Because of that comment, I can look at my own intention and go, why did I comment that? I commented that 100%. Well, I guess it's a combination of percentages. But as I said in my other video, to say, look, I know something you don't. And that's not a high value, energetic reason to comment on something. That's just me trying amongst kind of peers. I think we're all peers here. We talk about the show. I just do it on YouTube. You do it on Reddit. But that's my way of commenting and saying something like, I know something you don't. Here I am in the group. I belong. That's it. It's not right, but I think it takes some decent amount of comprehension to be able to look at it and say, that's what it is. And the truth is, I don't belong. I'm banned. And someone was like, oh, should we start a petition? No. But for every single time anyone questions why I was banned, probably 9 out of 10 people aren't going to know. They're going to assume it was something that was ban worthy. And my point is, it's not ban worthy. Do I think the moderators are bad people? No, I'm sure if I ran into them randomly on the street, we'd get along just fine. I'm sure of that. But collectively, they are part of an interesting batch of people. So several months ago, a lot of the moderated groups protested. The moderators would shut down their subreddit, and it was because Reddit was trying to get rid of third-party apps because they can't make money on their third-party apps. People got very upset about this, and I thought, well, isn't Reddit a company? Can't they decide if they don't want other apps to take on their stuff? And people said, well, but these other apps maybe are better for hearing impaired or whatever issues may be, which might be true. But if Reddit can make more money as an app, it can probably address some of the concerns people had. Here's a comment somebody left regarding the Redditors and a call for change. It's called the power-hungry moderators of Reddit. In recent events, the actions of Reddit moderators have raised serious concern about their true intentions and motives. It has become evident that these moderators are driven by a desire to maintain power rather than serve the community they claim to represent. By examining the short-lived blackout, the reopening of subreddits, and their fear of being replaced by administrators, it became clear that their actions are driven by self-interest rather than the well-being of the platform. This argument aims to shed light on the need for moderators to relinquish their power and take a stand against Reddit's harmful policies. Here are my arguments and the only solution to this problem. So the person basically says they would rather see the website crumble with no moderators than have moderators that are sort of flexing their power because they're able to ban and silence people. So they say fear of losing power. The moderators' fear of being replaced by administrators is indicative of their power-hungry nature. The threat from Reddit to remove moderators from subreddits participating in the blackout reveals their fear of losing control. Many subreddits are now opening to avoid being stripped of their positions. This fear-driven response further exposes their true motives: to retain power and control over their communities at any cost. It's also important to remember how 92 of the top 500 communities are moderated by the same people. So anyway, I don't think moderators are bad people, and I don't think I'm a bad person. But if I'm willing to put my face on camera and say, here's where I was wrong. And I did it before they banned me. I did it before there was any call for me to apologize, which I don't believe I apologized. I just admitted it was wrong, which it's like semantics, linguistics, whatever at that point. But my issue is this: I'm able to put my name on something, which will get me banned, and it did. But I'm also able to call other people out and say, these moderators, the Bachelor moderators, the ones I'm not allowed to communicate with or respond if it's like, look, my thing is this: if you're going to ban me from this Reddit, wherever, or from the other subreddit, then ban any mention of me. Ban sharing my name, ban any speculation about me. If you're not going to allow me a voice to respond to mischaracterization or slams or whatever, then ban me completely. Don't mention my name. It doesn't help me out at all. That's not going to happen. For some reason, which I appreciate because it's due to the success of our channel, it's become a talking point, like a subtopic within the channel. And people might say, oh, Dave, you're 20 minutes into a video. Why? Get us out of your head. It's like, well, this stuff keeps on happening. Why was he banned? I missed it. And then someone shares a quasi response that's not completely, whatever. The time that I was slammed by Reddit and the moderators left the post up, the time that I was absolutely slammed for following Jordan Peterson, which again, I follow plenty of people. I follow presidents I didn't agree with. I follow all because I create content. I follow, Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce. I like whatever the story is out there in pop culture. It's not just Bachelor based. I'm also a stand-up comedian. I follow so much in the entertainment world. So when people are slamming me for that, and then I make like a frantic 25-minute video responding to it, people just go, rather than go, oh my gosh, we've really tripped this guy's Olympics. He's, maybe we mischaracterized him or whatever, people would rather go, oh geez, he responded, how weird. It's almost like until you see a video of me crying and fired or canceled or whatever, that you're not going to empathize with me because you've put me on some weird pedestal because I make content and because maybe YouTube pays me for that content I make. Well, YouTube runs ads and I get, a percentage. I think for every dollar YouTube makes, I get 45 to 55%, something like that. I don't quite remember. It's been life-changing for me, and people can decide if they want to be in my donut shop or not. But I've explained why I've been guilty of gossiping on the subreddit. I would love it if I could have an open and honest conversation with the moderators for why they banned me and what can actually be done moving forward to make the site better. Because I think rather than make the site better, they'd rather come into it and just ban me, where now all of the content that we had and ability to discuss interesting topics are all gone. And one of the interesting topics being my conversation with Tino. They'd rather share a couple screen grabs of it. And that happens. It's whatever. But either way, if there are any Bachelor subreddit moderators that have the balls or ovaries or whatever sexual organ you want to discuss to have a conversation with me, I'll do it on your platform. I'll call in. Don't they have that like group chat, whatever? And we can line item through every single thing you want to talk about. In the end, I think we'll have a better conversation than just banning somebody, which, by the way, after I was banned for speculating, they ended up making a whole post which shared the person's name in which the speculation was already happening about. If you ask me, that's worse, and that's just an example of how power hungry they are. And I think it's fair to talk about. I'm not bashing one individual person. I'm bashing a group of, or I'm not even bashing. I'm discussing a group of moderators that have their names blocked. They don't even say what their accounts are for fear that there's going to be any backlash. It's like, what backlash? Let's just have a conversation. You can do it over the phone. No one needs to know who you are. But I think it's unfair that we have to keep talking this way because my voice has been taken away over there. Let me know what you guys think. Either way, I do appreciate everybody who checked out my interview with Tino. It is the best Driving with Dave interview we've done so far, just statistically speaking. I think they're all great. I love all my children. But statistically speaking, you wanted to listen to it. It's got the highest view duration, which means you didn't just click on it. You stuck around. You left great comments. And I appreciate everybody who's given me a chance and actually listened to what I have to say and not read about it somewhere else. Thank you guys so much. More content coming your way. We'll be with you this afternoon, Bachelor Rush Hour, the podcast. And if you want to donate to the channel, we appreciate you. Patreon.com/Dave Neal. We'll be live right after this.